Good morning. I see I'm already 2 minutes behind. I hate to get in the middle of all this great socializing and connecting in this great industry with this great group of people, but duty calls. So with that, I'd like to welcome you. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Tim Balcom, President and CEO of Shaw Industries and Chairman of the Board of the CRI. It's my pleasure to welcome you to the 2025 CRI Annual Membership Meeting. We're very pleased to have you here today, both in person and perhaps some joining us virtually or electronically. That's something we have to get used to in today's modern world. Thank you for showing your support for your trade organization and this great connected industry that we're all proud to be part of. Our 2025 Annual Membership Meeting is now called to order. I'd like to welcome Russ Delosier, President of the CRI, to the stage to deliver the invocation, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Russ?
Good morning, everybody. Thank you. I was thinking about the invocation. Invocation is to invite assistance from on high. Back when 102 people got on a ship that we call Mayflower 405 years ago, before they left Holland, they invocated the trip. When George Washington was pressed at Valley Forge, he had an invocation prayer for the Revolutionary War. When Abraham Lincoln was in the depths of the Civil War, he himself had invocation prayers to God. We fast forward to FDR, one of the greatest prayers when we were landing on the beaches of Normandy. FDR gave an invocation. JFK gave one when we're going to the moon. So invocation is an important part of anything we do, and we consider that to be an important part here of what we do at your institute, the Carpet and Rug Institute. So if you will, bow with me in prayer in similar fashion to those previous men and women. Heavenly Father, Lord, we do bow our heads right now. We realize that you value industry, you value work. Lord, you value creation of things. And Lord, we do thank you for this community, this area, this industry, this institute that has been carrying out good work for decades. Lord, I thank you for the men and women that serve this industry. Lord, we pray right now for those actually making the product, standing at the tufting machine, standing at the dye houses and the coating lines. Lord, keep them safe. Keep them safe now and all of next year. Lord, I pray a blessing on our members here. Lord, we pray that their businesses go well, that you give them insight into their decisions. And Lord, we pray a blessing on our members. And Lord, we pray a blessing on our institute as we have work to do in the coming year. We just pray your guidance and favor. And we thank you for this time. We thank you for this simple annual meeting. Lord, I pray that you bless it. And it's in your Son's name we pray. Amen. All right. Well, on the heels of the Veterans Day yesterday, we get a chance to say the Pledge of Allegiance. And so if you will, we have a flag here. For those online, we also have a flag. And so if you will, stand with me and let's pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, thank you. Please be seated. All right. Good. I have an opportunity to acknowledge some special guests here. The carpet industry is an integral part of Georgia economy, not just Northwest Georgia, but the entire state. But we also value our relationships with our Dalton and Atlanta and Washington, D.C. representatives. And we have a few of those guests here with us today. In fact, you'll be hearing in just a bit from Representative Casey Carpenter. We're very proud to have Casey here. And we also have Chuck Payne. Where am I looking for Chuck Payne? There he is right there. We have Chuck Payne representing us as well. We thank you for that. And Gavin Thompson, okay, bingo, we've got him. He represents Marjorie Taylor Greene from a Washington, D. standpoint. So we are thankful for those representatives that we have with us. I'd also like to acknowledge we have Dr. Heidi Popham, you'll be hearing from in just a little bit. She represents our education from the GNTST standpoint. I'm excited to hear and see what she has to share with us. And do we have anybody from Dalton State College? I just want to make sure, do we have? I know, okay, no, I don't think we do, but oftentimes we have with those, we consider our partnerships with our local community important. So with that in mind, having done the invocation and having done the pledge and welcoming, I'd like to turn it back over to this is just the business meeting part. So Tim, if I can get you to come back up here, please, sir.
Thank you, Russ, for that beautiful invocation and the historical perspective. Let the record be known, we're going to talk about invoking to go to the moon, not to go to something more trying. Onward and upward, only for this great industry. It is time for our regular business meeting. So, Ms. Freshour, do we have a quorum? Feels like yes. So confirmed. This meeting is held for the purpose of conducting appropriate business for the CRI and for electing our board of directors. These actions are required by bylaws. As a matter of those that have joined us remotely, you have been placed on mute, but we will be taking written comments if so. Do we have anybody online that we know of? I know we're broadcasting. Got two people. Well, welcome and thank you for joining us that way. We'll now hear a report of CRI's financial situation from Becky Bowley, our CRI treasurer, and I also want to take this time to acknowledge the great work she's done. She's a selfless servant and also a very direct communicator, so we thank her for both. Thank you, Becky.
So I'll briefly take you all through the treasurer's report, and we'll start with the 2024 audit report, which was issued by Talons Mullins and Company. They issued a clean, unqualified opinion indicating that the financial statements are presented fairly in accordance with generally accepted accounting principles. These results reflect strong compliance with financial controls and reporting standards, and it underscores the financial status that the organization is sound. We'll next take a macro look at the 2026 budget, which reflects that the revenues are projected to be $6,130,000 from the expected income from operations and other sources. Our operating expenses are projected to be $6,196,999, which will be a net loss of $66,999, but we should break even with our contingency budget. On the next slide, you'll see the breakdown of those operating expenses into the key categories. Total operating expenses are projected to be $427,000 higher than the 2025 budget in total, with Silk and Green Label Plus and seal of approval spending as those largest drivers there. And as Tim said, I'm known to be brief, so that gets you through the treasurer's report.
Thank you, Becky. We appreciate the facts, just the facts. We did have an expanded discussion of our financials, and it had been approved by our board of directors earlier this morning, so thank you for that. The next point of business here is the CRI nominating committee met on November 5th and presents the following nominations for the 2026 board of directors as required by our CRI bylaws. The nominations are, I think, presented on the screen, and I would like to go through those. Our manufacturer seats are filled first by Nancy Agar-Nielsen from Bentley Mills, Dan Frierson from the Dixie Group, Robert E. Shaw from Engineered Floors, Richard French, Mannington Mills, Patrick Keese, Milliken and Company, Joe Saman, Mohawk Industries, myself representing Shaw, and Wynn Everhart for Tarkett. of North America. We have 3 associate manufacturer seats. They're occupied by Franco Rossi from Aquafil USA, Chip Howalt from Textile Rubber and Chemical Company, and Jonathan Craig from Universal Fibers. Following are the nominations of the 2026 board officers. And by bylaws, we can fill certain seats 2 years in a row. I'm nominated to be chair and Joe to continue as vice chair. Board of Directors, Becky Boley from Shaw Industries, and our CRI president is Russ DeLozier. Our CRI secretary is Michelle Freshauer. Do I hear a motion to accept this nominations committee slate? Do I hear a second? Thank you very much. Any objections, comments? Thank you very much. Any floor nominations? Going once, going twice? Thank you. If there's no further discussion, the slate presented will be automatically elected by acclamation. This transition will continue, but the transition starts officially January 26th. The CRI Policy Committee also has appointments. Pursuant to the CRI bylaws, the Board of Directors meeting held earlier, the following members are appointed to the CRI Policy Committee. They're also displayed on the screen, starting with Dan Frierson of the Dixie Group, Robert E. Shaw of Engineered Floors, Richard French of Mannington Mills, Patrick Keese of Milliken and Company, Joe Saman, Mohawk, myself for Shaw, and Chip Howalt from Textile Rubber and Chemical. Congratulations to these CRI board directors and policy committee. Your new duties will also continue to January 26th. With that, let me turn it back over to our president, Russ.
Tim, thank you for doing all that business stuff. It's an important step in bylaws. We appreciate our leadership through the bylaws and our legal people keeping us in line there. We're going to transition now to an opportunity to hear from our keynote speaker, Representative Casey Carpenter. As I mentioned earlier, he and I got to know each other 25 years ago. We were in a leadership Dalton together. And I did. It was also a different color. But I have seen Casey Carpenter paddle a cardboard boat in a pool before, okay? But now he's paddling down in Atlanta and doing the best he can, and I look forward to hearing his words. So, Casey, do you mind coming up here?
Sorry, couldn't help myself. Sorry, Russ. So I can assure you that paddling in a cardboard boat was at least 25 pounds ago, so I don't know that I would float anymore. What an honor it is to be with you guys here today. I typically am a hard no when it comes to making speeches, but I could not pass up an opportunity to hopefully speak my heart to such an important organization. As a child growing up in our community, it was always a point of pride to tell others that I came from the carpet capital of the world. It was something that touched everyone's lives, a product that reminded many of the simpler times of their childhood, whether it's laying on the carpet reading a book or WrestleMania with your brothers until someone screamed for mother. I have always argued that carpet makes a house a home. Coming from Dalton, it was always the start of an introduction when I met new people, and it was a bridge that anyone from Dalton had to connect with others. This community pride stayed with me as I grew up, when I became your state representative in 2017. Down in Atlanta, when discussing Dalton with others, I always start with, we make the world's carpets in my community. This industry provides a huge separation from the majority of my colleagues' communities, especially those that live outside the metro area. The carpet and flooring industry has provided the infrastructure that most communities would dream to have. We have plenty of jobs, accessible broadband, extensive medical care, affordable electricity, and many other valuable community assets because of you guys and this industry. We do not struggle with 90% of the issues that plague rural Georgia because we have an industry, something again that has been a sense of pride for my community. In fact, during 2020, this industry wrapped its arms around the farmers of our state and helped move over 12 tractor trailer loads of fresh produce in a 2-week notice. Unheard of. Unheard of. It has always stepped up in a big way. It is an industry of action that always answers the call every time. Without question, Dalton and all of North Georgia would pale in comparison if it was not for our industry. We have always screamed for diversification with the understanding that we had an ace in the hole. Something, regardless of the ebbs and flows of capitalism, would be here to protect us and catch us when we had missteps. However, I firmly believe this is under attack. We are facing issues that could bring an end to the success of our industry and our community as well. In my humble opinion, I see 3 major issues: immigration, litigation, and market preferences. In my role as your state representative, it has always been my goal to educate my colleagues, and in particular my Republican caucus, about immigration and its importance. The reality is our nation's immigration process is broken. It does not provide private industry with the necessary people to be successful. We must find a pathway for individuals who have been in this country illegally for over a decade. Everyone in this room supports deportations of the worst of the worst. However, it is time for our friends in Washington to acknowledge that there are in fact people in this country who add tremendous value to our communities who are illegal. As we sit in this room today, many of you don't realize every Sunday that many of these individuals are worshiping the very chair in which you sit. The floor covering industry and most of manufacturing would not make it without these individuals or their relatives. I have also spent the last year and a half discussing the need to address frivolous lawsuits. Federal regulations continue to move back and forth depending on who's in power. It's leaving us vulnerable to the vultures that see this as the golden ticket. We must seek to reach reasonable solutions to solve and stop these endless lawsuits for all manufacturers, but particularly our industry. I know that I'm preaching to the choir, and when it comes to this subject matter, but rest assured, I see your needs, which in turn are the needs of my community. The third issue, however, is the real reason I'm here today. I want to challenge you and your industry to make market carpet. You are making carpet. CRI is a perfect organization to use to focus on market preferences. As long as I can remember, my friends in the floor covering industry have said everything is cyclical, truly believing that eventually carpet would again become the product of choice. However, after 20 years of the same answer, I think it's time to go on the offensive. In 1993, the California Milk Processors Board decided milk consumption was headed for a disaster. They decided that a massive advertising campaign must be started to remind people to drink milk. The Got Milk ads ran for 20 years and is still one of the most recognizable ad campaigns in the United States. The verdict is still out whether it moved the needle or not nationwide, but it did in fact move the needle in California. I would love to see a nationwide ad campaign as an industry. I know co-ops between competitors is always a little dicey, but if we don't figure this one out, I'm afraid carpet will continue to lose market share. I know each of you have diversified into other areas of floor covering, but I think it's safe to say that selling carpet is paramount to our community and the success of it. Carpet Reimagined is a way for CRI to push industry growth, and I hope each and every one of you can lock arms and make this happen. We have to remind people of their childhood, the warmth, comfort, and acoustical attributes that make a house a home, the design and style that makes their home different than their neighbors. And I know there's a lot of people in this room that are way more smarter than I am, but I see that marketing is necessary for the survival of our community as we know it. Our industry has always produced inspired entrepreneurship and innovation. Much of what makes our community what it is today has been driven by the inspiration and the opportunity of the carpet industry has provided. In fact, I stand here today as a direct result of that industry. As a young college kid, my first business was selling dorm rugs to students as they moved into UGA. This experience planted the entrepreneurial seed that motivates me to this day. It would not have happened without carpet. The Oakwood Cafe and Cherokee Pizza would not exist without the floor covering industry, its influences, and its patronage. Walnut Hill Farm would not be bringing 30-plus families a year to our community to have weddings without the industry. Without a doubt, the Carpentry Hotel would have never even left the dream pile without this industry. So I think it's safe to say that whatever success I have had professionally would not have been possible without carpet or the grace of God. It is time that we nurture and support the very thing that has given us so much to be proud of. It is time to roll up our sleeves and work together to show the country and the world that carpet is here and going nowhere. Thank you. And I'll be glad to take a few questions, or if you guys have any questions or thoughts of kind of what's going on down in Atlanta, what we're doing to kind of move the needles on the issues that are important to you. I know that the tort reform package helps a little bit. I know you guys, especially folks that own tractor trailers, have been getting pounded for quite some time. So be glad to take any questions. And if you don't have any, that's cool too, whatever.
Casey, thank you very much. Any questions for Casey?
I think that the tone is changing. I think Gavin can speak to that. They're seeing some. I've read some things that Marjorie Taylor has said lately that says there's some reasonable movement. My campaign paid for a statewide poll, just to Republicans and Democrats, asking the very question: if someone's been here 10 years and never committed crimes other than being here illegally, how would you support that? And it polled at like 85% across the board. I mean, you can't get 85% of people to agree on Jesus Christ. So I think it's an indicator of where the public is. We just got to make sure that Washington's hearing. I mean, it got so bad during the Biden presidency that, any reasonableness had to get thrown out the door. But I think they're realizing, just like everything in government, the pendulum swung too far. And, we're seeing it in this community. I mean, I write a letter a week for somebody that's been detained, that's been here 10 years with mixed immigration status families that are being held in Atlanta and awaiting trial, et cetera. So, or Fort Stewart. So it's tough for our community especially. Man, cheap date. All right. Well, far out. If you need me, I'm here.
Thank you, Casey. That was a treat to hear. I love to hear the passion in his heart for our community. You heard those businesses. I'm going to brag a little bit in that I do believe CRI was the very first reservation, certainly the first customer at the Carpentry Hotel. I mean, and it has a textile kind of motif to it. I don't know if that's the right terminology, but it focuses on textile, which is, of course, our bread and butter. So thank you very much for sharing. All right, we get a chance now to turn to the awards and recognition section of our time, and this is a real treat. We have several actually going on, and we actually have one member who is unable to make it here today, but he still gets an award, and we'll make sure he gets it. So we historically have an outgoing chairman award, and it's kind of a way to say thank you for carrying the extra water it takes to be a leader on a panel or a committee. And Alan Butenhoff with the Shaw Industries served that role in what used to be called the PP&S, and it's now called the TIP, the Technical Initiatives Panel. And so we just want to say thank you. And so Alan will be getting this chairman's gavel to remind him of his leading that committee. But he's also left it in good hands. Do I see Chris Baggett out there? Do I saw him? Okay, Chris Baggett has picked up the other gavel and will be swinging it here in 2026. So thank you, Chris, for doing that. So we'll get this to Alan next time we see him. But we have this year a unique situation where here's the deal. You all are the experts. You're the manufacturers. You're the know-how. I often see the role of the CRI is it's almost like we're the sideline facilitators. You all are the team players. We're saying, hey, get involved in these committees, get involved in this board, get involved in this council, and use your knowledge and experience to help lead this industry. And we just kind of facilitate. We take minutes. We do those other kind of things. We organize it. We send out emails. We do whatever it takes to get you as members coalesced around the issue, and then you all vote and do it. And you all are just tremendous. And there's a number of you that have served for many years, and this year happens to be the year you're choosing to retire. And so we kind of feel like the coaches on the sidelines that we're losing some of the starting five, I'll call it. So we came together and said, you know what, we need to say a special thank you to those folks. And I'm going to call them up all at the same time. As it turns out, as I mentioned, Alan is actually going to be one of those. Alan is retiring from Shaw at the end of the year, and we're going to miss his leadership in things mattering to technical. But we are also want to recognize John Bradshaw, also from Shaw, who has been just a stalwart on things related to EPR, extended producer responsibility, and carpet recycling and things of that matter. So he too is retiring at the end of the year. But both of those gentlemen are unable to make it today. But we do have one retiree who has made it. He's from Mohawk. And I'm going to ask Jim if you'll come up here, Jim Williams, and get your award. It simply says, in appreciation of many years of service. Do you have any idea how many years of service? I mean, are we talking dozens?
I've been around CRI a little 20 years.
20, wow, okay, there you go. You can see this is the A team, we're the starting five. It just, we have here, the day's date and just the mission of, and Jim has been a tremendous support of, and we appreciate all you've done for our industry, Jim.
Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure.
One of my favorite things to talk about and one of my favorite awards to give is at the end of a long career for a staff member, a fellow team member of the CRI. And here just end of last month, we had one of those occasions. We had a 20-plus year employee choose to retire after serving you, the membership, doing that finance stuff, working with Becky and all the other treasurers that came before you, Becky. And so I would ask Susan that you come up here and I get a chance to embarrass you in front of some folks. Again, yes, absolutely. Susan's award looks a little different. It's just this symbol of just basically the 20-plus years that you've served us. We hope that you find a nice place for this in your house and do it. So I'm going to hug you.
I'll let it look out at the lake.
Yes, good. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Yes. I think you guys know there is no success without a successor. Susan made sure before she departed the CRI that we hired a senior accountant. Sherry, where are you? I see there she is right there. Just if you see Sherry later this morning, just welcome her. We're super glad to have her part of the team. She's going to be working hand in hand with Becky, and just we'll go from there. But Sherry, we're glad to have you here. So there's one more opportunity. I get a chance to as the CRI president, to embarrass a staff member. And this is a milestone of 25 years of service. Officially the longest serving employee that we've had, and he's already figured it out by now. So Ryan Williams, who basically gets her done. Ryan, you need to come up here. Unfortunately. Got to make it all the way up. Listen, yes, thank you, without a doubt. The dictionary under team should have Ryan's picture by it. Yes. I said, wait, 25 is a big deal. 25 is, by the way, we got another one coming up relatively soon, but that'll be dealt with later. I just can't tell you how much I've enjoyed working with Ryan and with Susan as well. And the reason why the CRI is effective is you guys have good folks sitting in those chairs doing those things. And I want to tell you, I'm very, very proud of our team. All right, but now we have one more award that I want to share with us, and it's our Schmecker Award. Let's see if so this is kind of our namesake award for the CRI. Let me just read a few things to you. So it's the Joseph Schmecker Award was established by Milliken and Company back in '98, so it's been a while, in honor of Dr. Joe Schmecker, okay, who through Milliken's generosity served on numerous CRI committees. Dr. Joe quite literally set the standard for service to the trade organization and to the carpet industry. And although Milliken established the award years ago, it's the CRI staff members who choose the recipient each year. A couple of years ago, the CRI commissioned a remake of the award, okay? It is no longer a wall-hanging plaque that many of you out there who previous Schmecker Award winners have, but it's now a tabletop award by a local artisan. And in just a minute, we'll give that away. Made right here in Dalton, are you ready? Made right here from Dalton from recycled material that comes from Ural's mills, okay? So that's what this award is. That will be on the credenza or the desk of somebody out there. And we're very proud of our artist. Chris Beck is his name, of Beck Sculptures. To remind us about Dr. Joe, let me just share a couple words about him. You know, here's just quotes I received from colleagues of his in years past. Just a genuine man, the kindest man I ever knew, always an open door, always willing to help, so very bright technically. You can take it to the bank, whatever he says, because there's no bias in his thinking. What a treat that is. A big man with a big heart. Those are just some of the quotes that came from Dr. Joe's heritage, and that's what this award represents, is the kind of character that the CRI needs and wants. This is an A-team player. With that background, let's turn our attention to the presentation. And is Sean McGill out there by chance? Do I see Sean? No? Okay. So I'm gonna give this year's award. I have the privilege of having once received this award, actually one other time too. So I will give this year's award. Normally we let the previous recipient give it. It's truly an honor to help acknowledge the work of individuals who has demonstrated that dedication and passion of Dr. Joe. Our recipient this year is a behind-the-scenes type volunteer, but had still worked tirelessly for hours over the past several years to assist the CRI and the entire industry. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in congratulating Becky Bowley of Shaw for her efforts at helping the CRI. She said, I got her. That's good. That's what we wanted to do, all right? We kind of keep it as secret as possible. Here's why, okay? Listen, we couldn't do technical things without financing. We couldn't do advocacy without financing. We couldn't educate customers and consumers without good books that you heard about earlier. And so that behind-the-scenes stuff is vitally important, and she just does it. And I think I heard Tim say, you know, just how efficient she is in those presentations and reports she gives to the board, and we just greatly appreciate her. So thank you, Becky. All right, so let's see. We're going to turn our attention, I think, to the next step. Let's see what that is here on the screen. All right. Well, I have now the privilege of calling up one of our guest speakers, okay, Dr. Heidi Popham. She's going to talk to us about the GNTC scholarship, and she has some words and a video to share with us. So, Dr. Popham, can you please come?
Hi, my name is Samuel Shippey. I graduated from the Automation Engineering program in 2023. Well, when I found out that I was selected for the Governor Nathan Deal Scholarship, I was really excited because that meant I wouldn't have to carry the financial burden of working full-time as a full-time student, and I could focus more on my studies instead.
The Automation Engineering program here at Georgia Northwestern Technical College teaches a wide array of skills. Automation engineering is very relevant to the industry needs because automation is becoming the backbone of manufacturing. Our students are learning key skill sets in high demand areas that's helping them become successful in the job market immediately out of college.
This program prepared me by introducing me to basics of electrical theory, and not only the theory portion, but also the hands-on wiring, how to properly size wire basically, as well as what I consider to be the most fun part, which is the programming aspect of it.
The Governor Nathan Deal Scholarship makes a huge difference for our students. Many of our students do not come from wealthy backgrounds. They come from areas of where they're trying to strive to do more, and having a financial burden and having to work jobs while they're coming through school makes it very difficult on them. And having an opportunity to have some of that burden relieved on them is a big advantage. They have time now that they don't have to work those full-time jobs while going to school. They can actually come in, spend that extra lab time if needed to really reinforce and learn those concepts that's needed in a very high technical and high demand career.
I'd like to thank the members of the Carpet and Rug Institute for helping me get my associate in automation engineering technology. This program helped me see an entire world of industrial programming. Now, I provide a key skill that supports my local community. Thank you.
And I want to give out a big thank you to the Carpet and Rug Institute for helping make these students' future plans and their future dreams come true.
You've met the best part of us, and that is our students. But good morning to the members of the Carpet Rug Institute and special guest. Standing here today, 5 years after the first Governor Deal Technical Education Scholarship was awarded, I want to convey how truly grateful we are, for your game-changing, life-changing investment. This is not just a financial award to our students. It's an investment in the future of the flooring industry and an investment in hopes and dreams. For Georgia Northwestern Technical College students, this scholarship is the difference between a dream being a possibility and it becoming a reality. I'm excited to report that we have record-setting numbers of applicants for the Governor Nathan Deal Technical Education Scholarship for our upcoming spring semester, which will start in January. Thank you again, members of CRI, for truly being the dream makers for the students of Georgia Northwestern Technical College. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Popham, for being here in that video. That's great to see. Boy, I love seeing those students. We're just grateful that the CRI supports that. They support that because you as members help the CRI. Now, you as members are often doing some of that directly yourself, but you're also doing it through your trade organization, and we at the CRI want to say thank you for that. You can see, and our goal is to focus on education, the technical education that will help you all into the future, and that's exactly what you're seeing us do. So at this time, I'd like to introduce Jen Stowe, the CRI's Vice President of Government Relations, to share an update for the advocacy. So that's our next process here.
Good morning. I'm Jen Stowe, Vice President of Government Relations for CRI. and I've been here a long time too, but not quite as long as Ryan. And I work with a lot of the members that Russ referenced, and I'm very happy to do that. It's been a pretty interesting year as far as advocacy at CRI. I like to call it maybe job security. I don't know. But we did change our name from the EPR and Care Panel, which was the Extended Producer Responsibility and Care Panel, to the Advocacy Panel, because we are more than just EPR, and advocacy is one of the core tenets of our mission statement. And so for our members come together with the Advocacy Panel to work on the EPR legislation that Russ has referenced earlier, and recently we now have TIP and TAP. So as all of you are abundantly familiar, there has been a lot of EPR activity since about 2010, and there should be, there it is, a map that shows the states where it has been fairly active. California and New York are the only two states that have actually passed legislation, and the other states that were on the map, we hire contract lobbyists because, as I like to say, I know the process, but I don't know the players. So the folks on the ground help me understand the relationships of the folks in the legislature, because we've all seen the, I'm just a bill sitting here on Capitol Hill. So the process is similar in nearly every state. Next slide, please. So in California, we had a 863, Assembly Bill 863, which passed last year. It was horrible. I mean, that's probably not even a strong enough word to explain AB 863. It required direct industry funding, 5% recycled content requirement, payment to the union, mandated collection, sorting, and to say that the language was conflicting and confusing was probably an understatement. So we were hopeful this year when AB 80 was introduced to clean it up or fix it. And I met almost weekly with the bill sponsor, and the bill was moving along nicely until it stalled in appropriations and was sent to suspension to die. And so no one understood why that bill died. We're still trying to understand why that bill died. We are expecting another bill in 2026. I think California alone might offer me job security, so not sure that's a good thing. New York, on the other hand, has a bill. It has not gone into practice yet because when the bill was introduced, it lacked antitrust protection. And as all of you know, antitrust is a really important issue for our industry, and we decided we would rather not be federally punished by breaking antitrust laws, and so we did not begin the discussions that were necessary to begin the program planning. So once that bill was signed, we worked with our lobbyists on the ground and got the bill passed through the Assembly and the Senate, and it was ultimately signed by the governor in July. Our contract lobbyists, in the case of New York, Illinois, California, I look at them as kind of insurance, because even in the states where we don't have active bills, they help us navigate to know what's kind of coming and what we can look for. So they're really kind of an insurance policy, which when you think about your insurance, you don't actually want to have to use it, but you're really glad you have it when you need it. So we did work with our contract lobbyists. We got the bill signed by the governor. I did have an encounter that I like to think had a little bit of help in shaping the governor signing the bill. I was attending a meeting of majority leaders. I was sitting on a bus next to her in Madison, Wisconsin, and the majority leader from the Assembly in New York was my seatmate. And I said to her, you know, we have a bill on Governor Hochul's desk, and I'm just curious, do you have any idea to like how we can encourage her? And she said, oh girl, she said, I don't know what she thinks, but I'm from her district and I have a meeting with her on Monday. The bill was signed on Tuesday. I'm just saying. There was a lot of work in the background, but I'm going to take as much credit as I can. So as a result of the antitrust bill being signed, we then had a summit in September with the Synthetic Turf Council, the Carpet Cushion Council, and the Carpet and Rug Institute, because New York apparently doesn't understand that the definition of carpet shouldn't necessarily include turf or cushion, but they did. So the three industries have worked together. We had our summit. As a result of the summit, we came up with an MOU, and then in October, the MOU was signed, and we have begun working on putting a plan together. However, because the date for submission of the plan is December 31st, and that's rapidly approaching, we are going to request an extension. That letter that's going into the Department of Environmental Conservation will go in actually this week requesting an extension. The plan is due December 31st. If we are not granted the extension, we will turn in that plan and have to follow the guidelines, which says it would begin in July of 2026. So everybody who prays or whatever you do, get down on your knees and use them for the extension, please. So I'm going to move on to a little bit of our legislative visibility. I know all of you are familiar with the bill stuff that we work on, but behind the scenes, CRI is involved with a lot of things that you don't necessarily see. And Gavin, I'm really glad you were able to be here with us today. Gavin helped work with Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene to help plan a meeting for our upper level folks to meet with Howard Lutnick, the Secretary of Commerce, and that was in February. We pulled the meeting together fairly quickly at the Congresswoman's request. She was on the line with us. We had a number of folks on the line. He entertained questions. He educated us about the tariffs, and we gained a little bit of insight about the administration's approach to the tariffs and trade administration. So it was interesting because as we wrapped up the call, his comment was, "I need to run. I'm expected in the Oval Office." So we thought that at least our message was getting where it needed to go. Speaking of our time in Washington, unfortunately, I was not able to join this year because I was involved with a state legislative activity, but Russ traveled with the chamber here in Dalton and did a fly-in, what we call a fly-in, when folks go to DC for a few days and they wear their comfortable shoes and they walk back and forth between the House and the Senate and they share what's important to the folks in their community. And so we were happy to be able to partner with the chamber and do that. So I mentioned I wasn't actually able to be there at that time because CRI participates in a lot of state legislative groups. For example, the National Conference of State Legislatures, NCSL, the State Legislative Leaders Foundation, SLLF, the State Government Affairs Council, SGAC, Women in Government, plus the National Association of Manufacturers, of which there's a Council of Manufacturing Associations. Yes, an association of associations. And then this year, I'm really proud to say that CRI was a partner in working on the Flooring Sustainability Summit, and a lot of you had folks from your teams there in Washington. It's going to become an annual dialogue. It's become a meaningful conversation with all of the floor covering industries. So as a result of our involvement in so many of the state legislative activities, we gain visibility. I can build relationships. And one of my friends in the lobbying world shared with me early on, everyone knows the comment, it's not what you know, it's who you know. But the added component to that, and I don't know if Casey would agree, or Chuck as legislators, but it's who knows you. And for me, when I go into someone's office, I can say, oh, well, I know Casey, but does Casey remember me? And so being parts of these organizations and participating and showing up where we have paid dues has allowed me to build relationships. And where our contract lobbyists are our insurance, these relationships are our investment. And it is an investment. Like the opportunity I had with the legislator from New York to talk about getting the bill signed. We've had instances in other states where I've been able to talk to leaders that I have built relationships with based on shared experience, so that I can go in and say, oh, remember when we were on that boat in Iceland and we talked about XYZ? And it also gives us the opportunity to sponsor different events. So here I am. This year was the National Conference of State Legislatures' 50th anniversary, And so we sponsored the gold carpet. That signage was out all week. There were 9,000 people at this conference, and about over 4,000 of them were legislators, and then there's legislative staff. We've also sponsored for the last 5 or 6 years the red carpet for the legislative staff appreciation lunch at NCSL. On the final slide, you'll see there's the red carpet for the legislative staff. As an aside, I put in a picture of me in Iceland because that was why I was not able to be, excuse me, in the with the fly-in, because I was traveling with the National Conference of State Legislatures. And to follow up on the "it's not who you know, it's who knows you," I got to Iceland a few hours before the meeting started, and so I went to the Blue Lagoon by myself. I wanted to do a little exploring. I was in the locker room, and I heard a voice next to me, and the locker room is big. It's bigger than this, and it's split into different sections. And I hear a voice next to me, and I turn next to me, and it's the speaker from Delaware. She's a woman, let me be clear, in the locker room. And I looked at her, and I said, "Mimi," and she said, "Jen." And she was with another legislator. She said, "Oh, this is Representative Romer." And Mimi, who is Melissa Minor Brown, it says that I can call her Mimi because we've got a friendly relationship. Mimi says to Representative Romer, "Oh, this is Jen. She's a lot of fun. She's going to spend the day with us." So I spent the whole day because they knew me too. It wasn't just me getting to know them. And so I just want you to know that when you see the line items in the budget for the investments that we're making with these legislative groups, it's paying off. It's helping. And I am so happy. I say this, I've said this multiple times to Russ. I said it when he was a member. I say it when he's president. I am so proud to be representing this industry around the country. And when I say I cover all 50 states, I do cover all 50 states. But this is an industry that I am so proud to represent. We are made in America, and we should be proud of that, and I am happy to share our story.
Hey, Daryl, go ahead and be making your way up. That's advocate for the industry. So you just heard that. Where you're about to hear advanced technical initiatives. Okay, you're going to hear the technical side of CRI. So Daryl Hagan, our director of that activity, come on up and share, if you will.
Thank you, sir. Hey, good morning. Good to see you guys out here this morning. Just to give you a quick update on what our technical group has been up to over this past year. We have two groups, the Green Label Plus program, which I'm sure you've heard of, and the Seal of Approval program. Well, this year we took it upon ourselves to rewrite the Green Label Plus program, and that was a pretty big task to do. As we had our ANSI audit coming up in the month of July, we started probably in March, and we worked together. Sonia, Karen, and myself was able to get that program rewritten, rewriting the quality manual and process and procedures manual. So we had our ANSI audit, and we passed with flying colors. So thank you, ladies, for getting that done. The CRI has also updated test methods over this past year with vacuum cleaners and extractors, and we still have to get our deep cleaning, or what we're calling now just our cleaning program, where you have a process of vacuum, solution, extractors, and we're getting that done, working along with PTL, which is Professional Testing Lab, Lloyd. We're also looking at, because we're getting a lot of questions, and our members are getting some questions actually, about what about stick vacuums or autonomous vacuums, which is going to be your battery operated type vacuum that's a robotic. So we're going to look at implementing categories for both of those. And we're going to work along with PTL, the Professional Testing Lab, to get that done. And hopefully we can start getting all that tested early first quarter or late first quarter next year. It's been mentioned already that our former panel called PP&S We renamed it TIP, which is Technical Initiatives Panel. And basically, you might have saw the mission statement that Jen had up. It aligns with our mission statement, Technical Initiatives. So we're now known as TIP. And under the guidance of TIP, we completed an air particulate study recently, and we hope to have a white paper completed with that early next year as well. And also, you may or may not know that CRI has CEU programs that are available to our members, and also other smaller companies that want to be able to offer continuing education credits. So we're going to start renewing those CEUs, because a lot of them have a little bit of age on them, and we want to make sure they're current. So we've put together a task group for 4 different sections: manufacturing, testing, sustainability, and one more. What is it, Karen? Anyway, we're going to put together those task groups so we can get those CEUs updated. Thank you.
All right, you've made it to the end. I promised to be brief in the President's report. You heard the meat of it, you know, the advocacy and the technical side of it. But I'm just going to, as quickly as I can, hit the highlights of other items. First of all, I want to let you know, the CRI is well organized, and I believe we've got well experienced associates who are helping lead it. You've already heard our finances in good shape because of the leadership of the Finance Committee. I believe our panels are well led. I think our SILC, the Strategic Issues Leadership Council, is focused on strategic issues, and I'm very proud of our board. I believe they're well engaged. So in fairness, I got to tell you, I've really enjoyed my time here at the CRI. It's just been a blessing. And I just want to share with you here, the mission. Again, I just want to drive home: educate customers and consumers, advance technical initiatives, and advocate for the carpet industry. We do that with science, and we do it with integrity. And so that's kind of our focus. Every day we come to work. But let me tell you here what, darn it, go back, okay. Last year I said that I was very proud of, just like you heard Jen say, and I know you all are proud of your industry and your companies too. This year the word I want to leave you with is amazed, all right? And let me just give you an example of what has been amazing to me. Okay, so one of the things we produce for you as members is monthly and quarterly reports. Many of you call me up if that thing's a day late. You say, hey, where's my report? So that's an important thing. And so oftentimes you all are leisurely focused on, what's with this month, or what's with this quarter, or how is this year going? And that's right and proper that you do that. And I got to thinking as I was looking at this year's 2025 numbers and last year's even, and I said, well, you know what, darn it, what if I looked in the rearview mirror and looked back just a little bit further? What if I look back over 10 years and say, okay, what have we done? Sometimes it's important to pause just a moment, just pause just long enough to look back and say, wow. And so what I did the math, and are you ready for this? 100 billion, that's with a B, 100 billion square feet of stuff you all have made over the last 10 years, 100 billion. And you might say, well, okay, Russ, that's well and good. Okay, that's a big number. Can't really put my mind on it, but take a look at what it is, okay? Russ did some math. Okay. Are you ready for this? You carpeted every square inch of every 12 county in Northwest Georgia. You guys are the carpet capital of the world, and you've carpeted your neck of the woods. Now, here's the deal. You may say, okay, well, Russ, that's good. So as you're driving home and going home or doing whatever, just look at every field, every street, every building, every church, everything that you see in a 12-county area. You've done that work over the last 10 years, you and your associates who are standing at the tufting machines right now. That's amazing to me, because here's what's cool, is you don't do it covering like that. You don't go to market by putting carpet in a field. You put it in a building, you put it in a church, you put it in a home, just like Representative Casey Carpenter shared with us. You guys are making those products really for the whole world. And I'm going to, if you will, get just a little bit personal here and share with you the home, okay? I happen to be privileged to have changed the carpet in 2 of my rooms in my house, okay? One of them was my bedroom, and I can tell you from personal, firsthand, direct knowledge, it changed my life. Just changing the carpet in your bedroom. And here's the deal. The old carpet was fine. It was good. We had maintained it exactly as we should. The CRI has maintenance procedures out there online. All you got to do is look them up and follow them. We maintained it. It styled out before it wore out. You guys have seen that all the time. That's what happened here. But lo and behold, my wife just loves it. And every guy can complete this sentence. Happy wife, happy life. We can all complete that, okay? So I made my wife happy. I would have changed my carpet years ago had I known that. But now go forward with another room upstairs. We have reached this stage in our lives where to the Lozier families and empty nesters. So now we have we're trying to create what I call grandkid attractors, you know, a play area in the backyard, something else to attract the grandkids. And so my wife came up with this idea of a playroom upstairs that used to be one of the kids' bedroom. So we recarpeted that. Love it. And here's the deal. Yours truly, the president, actually went online, followed the instructions, because we got instructions on how to install carpet. I installed it myself. Okay, I turned a 4-hour job into 16 hours, okay? But I got it done, and I installed it. I even put the wallpaper up of the castle in this room. Love this room. So I can't wait till my grandson shows up. He knocks on the door, comes in, smiles, and he says, "Ema, let's go to Ema's Playhouse." Not Grandpa's Playhouse, but Ema is my wife's grandmother name. And so he wanted, you know, so I didn't get any credit for any of the change, but I can tell you this, carpet changed my house's life. And it does, you're doing that all over the country. Right today, somebody's getting brand new carpet in some room of their house, and it's changing. And so I just want to let you know how proud I am of that. So let's take a look at it to prove it even more. I found this video series online, and we put together just a little snippet. I just love that clip. You know, and by the way, we got red carpet. We got video camera running on the way out, okay? You know, yes, I know it's red, and I know that has that idea. But guys, whether it's red or green, or we saw gold, or yes, even beige carpet, you know, changes. I've got a light beige in my bedroom, and it changed. And so you are making products that are changing people. And you're doing a lot of it, and you're doing really amazing things. So I'm amazed at our industry. Real briefly, you've already heard it already. You know, we do have a big task ahead of us with this New York legislation. I am amazed and I'm proud of what you, the CRI, did. I'd like to think that, you know, by bringing 3 completely individual product categories, turf and pad and carpet together, sometimes I felt it was like herding cats. And to some degree, it did feel like that. But it's a very proud moment, the CRI doing it. And I want to say thank you for all those who participated. Thank you for the legal team that helped us. But take a look. There's the cats that we herded. There's 42 of them, all up in Chattanooga. And that New York Framework Summit was a big highlight of what we did as we're working towards this New York legislation. And Jen already gave you some fine details there. But there's other external forces and factors we're working on. I promise not to say the T word, okay? I'm not going to say that word. There's T-words, there's imports, there's other activities that we as a collective industry here in the U.S. need to be looking at. And we'll constantly be looking at the governmental activities as well. Just any threat that comes our way, we want to advocate for you all. So I'm hopeful for the trajectory of our industry. I'm hopeful for the Institute itself going into 2026. Yes, we're going to have our hands full in California and New York. That will be a big task. But I'm confident CRI and its members and all the volunteers that are going to be able to meet that challenge. I do want to thank our members for their diligently sharing their time. I say this to myself all the time. You all have a 110% job. And I just get the privilege of getting whatever time you can give us as a collective industry. And I just want to say thank you, because I'm honored that you're giving us any time at all. And so I do want to say thank you for that. Again, I want to say thank you to Becky. The finances is absolutely outstanding. I can't think of a more appropriate person to win that heart of who the CRI is. Becky, we're very proud of you. I'm proud of our board of directors. I'm proud of our chairman, Tim. I'm proud of our vice chairman, Joe Simon. These gentlemen add good advice and counsel to us, and I just want to say thank you for your service. We know you've got a full-time job plus two. And I can't leave here without saying thank you to our staff. Our team is phenomenal. It's a treat. We love coming to work. We love working for you guys. And if you got any questions for the CRI, don't ever hesitate to call, email, text, do whatever it takes. So I'm looking forward to a successful 2026, and thank you very much for coming. Now I'm going to transition to a cool, fun part, okay? For our members out there, you are available or available for a door prize. So we actually have door prizes. I see Michelle out there running to the fish jar. So if am I correct? Michelle, did you grab, do you have the fish jar? Okay, there it is. Okay. So we got actually 3 different prizes. The first prize, so give me one of those envelopes. Oh, good, Sean. Look at it. You've got to be present to win, but he's present, okay? So let's do this first one. Hey, you'll like this, Casey. This is a gift card to the Oakwood Cafe, okay? That's right. So Casey's not eligible for this, okay? So so let's see. Let's pull that number. So Tim, our chairman, will pull that. So look at your number on your card. If you're a member, you should have on the back. Okay, the number on the back is 182, the last 3 digits, 182. Who has one? Yay! Oh, yes. Okay. All right, we have another gift certificate before we get to our grand prize. We have a gift certificate to Cyrus, a local support in the industry. So we have a gift certificate. Do we have a number? By the way, staff's not eligible to win either, okay? Not staff, okay? So number 199, 199. All right, Bob, come on up. All right. Okay, we got one more thing, and then we're done. We're closing our business. Let me grab this award. I can't tell you how proud I am of this piece of wood. You might say, Russ, is this a piece of wood? No, it's a beautiful piece of art with showing the heritage of what you all are part of. You're part of history, you're part of the present, you're part of the future. Again, you're changing people, you're changing lives, you're changing homes and buildings and churches. This piece of wood I'm holding in my hand, okay, is 1852 from the Dalton Depot. I didn't say 1952, I said 1852. Before the Civil War showed up on our doorsteps, this piece of wood was laid down at the Dalton Depot that played a very important role in the Civil War, all right? But it played a part of who we are here in Dalton and what carpet is. So you have in there the history of that. Then you have engraved in it the peacock, which was part of the original start of the bedspreads that would lead to ultimately the carpet. And so we at the CRI are very proud to be able to give this award to one recipient. So if your number happens to be 5192, anybody? Oh, no. Oh, my goodness. Okay. I'm going to recommend Becky go play the lottery today. Good job. It says, Becky, I'm going to give you this card that'll stay with it, and it'll commemorate. Well, everybody, you all have endured the 2025 CRI annual meeting. I thank you so much for coming on a cold day. Thank you for networking. I think we still have some Chick-fil-A and some coffee out there and whatever. We also have a red carpet. We'll get some videos. So anyway, thank you all. Meeting adjourned.